Dum da dum dum. Ba boom ba boom boom. Ah, hi Susan.
Hi.
Oh, my phone just went off letting me know that our channel is live and it's 9:18 on the West Coast, which means that it's sometime elsewhere while you're watching this, unless you're on the West Coast. Then it might not be 9:18 p.m. I mean, I guess it could be if you're watching it in the future and it's 9:18 p.m. in the future. But again, it's the time zone is what matters here. And apparently there are other time zones.
There are?
Mythology 101. Okay. So the chat was there and then it just like disappeared for me. Live chat. There it is.
Yay.
Okay. Whoo! I'm going to have a drink of this conspicuously, it's like it's blurring out the logo because they won't sponsor us. That's what it is. That's that good technology. Okay. It's mid-19 where Nicholas is. Sorry, I have to do that. I gotta. All right. Let me pick this up here. Let's get to the news because there's a ton of it. A 3,500-year-old clay tablet that was looted from an Iraqi museum 30 years ago is headed back to Iraq. Or, as we like to call it, America is coming back, and this time you're going to like democracy. Known as the Gilgamesh Dream Tablet, it was acquired by the company Hobby Lobby in 2014. And you knew it was Hobby Lobby. I didn't have to say that. In 2014 for display in their Museum of the Bible in Washington, D.C. Now, U.S. authorities seized it in 2019, saying it was stolen and needed to be returned. Now, the authorities in the United States, which is a key stakeholder because apparently the United States, we represent an estimated 44% of the global art market. We've made significant progress in recent years with all this nonsense. With the help of an improved legislative framework, he said to who? They can't even do the debt thing. And the assistance of key cultural institutions, the United States Antiquities Trafficking Unit, real thing by the way, I had to look it up, has in 2021 alone helped return valuable items to the people of Pakistan, Cambodia, Ludendorff, Thailand, Nepal, Sri Lanka, and Galitsland. Now, made of clay, the Gilgamesh tablet includes inscriptions in Sumerian. Let me do this. There we go. In Sumerian, a civilization of ancient Mesopotamia. I messed Mesopotamia up so many times today when I was researching this. It features sections of a Sumerian poem from the Epic of Gilgamesh, or as you might know, it's the flood of Jesus.
So you might say that you Mesopotamiaed it up?
Yes, I Mesopotamiaed it up, which forms parts of epic stories mirrored in the Old Testament, making it one of the world's oldest known religious texts. And yes, by the way, if you were listening to this and wondering, we did make up the name of a country. And no, that country wasn't Sri Lanka. Now, this whole Hobby Lobby thing, I actually went over this whole scam. Like before the pandemic or during the pandemic, I don't know. Time isn't even relative because time doesn't actually matter to me anymore. So you got this guy, his name is Dirk Obbink. Obink. Obbink. Obbink. He's like a skating rink with obs. A scholar at Oxford, and he was known for being maybe the best person to translate these artifacts. He decided he wanted to make a buck or a dollar or a euro or a rupee or yen. I don't really know. I don't know how money works because money's not real and we made it up.
True.
And he either stole from Oxford or purchased those which were looted from this guy in the Middle East before selling them to Hobby Lobby and their stupid fucking, pardon me, Museum of the Bible. Now, when he was figured out, he was fired from Oxford. The good thing that he was fired from Oxford. Oops. And moved to Waco, Texas, working at Rapist Cover-Up University and telling lies about what he could supposedly see on tablets that they would wash. And he also lived in a literal fucking castle while in Waco before selling it in 2019. Lived in a fucking castle. So this isn't the first time that Hobby Lobby has had to return a bunch of shit, by the way, from their stupid museum thing. In 2017, Hobby Lobby's idiot, fraud, bigoted president, whatever, Steve Green, announced that they would be returning over 5,500 clay tablets and blocks, from what I understand, not the Lego version, but because they're forgeries, likely the Leho version, of which Neil the 604 Atheist is has a great amount of knowledge about, while also paying the United States Justice Department, you know, the place where they stole everything from, the United States Justice Department, $3 million. Then, in March of 2020, they announced they would be returning 11,500 additional artifacts, including the tablet which contains the Epic of Gilgamesh, to the governments of Iraq and Egypt. Oh, by the way, we actually made up the names of 2 countries. And no, it still isn't Sri Lanka. Because, seriously, Sri Lanka's a real place. But we did definitely make up the names of 2 countries, and 0 of you caught it. Now, as if that wasn't enough for hobbies, this all happened a month after it was revealed that every single one of the museum's 16 Dead Sea Scrolls were fake. Forgeries. $30 million forgeries, which is how much Mr. Green paid for them. But I mean, you know, screw his low-wage employees asking for better wages and better health care with something, I don't know, like birth control or an option or something in there. I don't really know, right? But this is basically what this guy does. It's his hobby to collect fake or stolen artifacts and then put them in the lobby of his shitty museum, air quotes, for a couple of years before they are returned or before they are taken from him or before he has to pay the United States Justice Department instead of, I don't know, Iraq or Egypt or Pakistan or Ludendorff. By the way, if you are wondering, no, this does not cast any doubt on the actual authentic Dead Sea Scrolls, of which there are over 100,000. So suck it, mythicists, who I just targeted for some reason. Like, I don't know. Why would I target that? I don't know. Richard Carey is a sexual predator. Moving on to Jim Bakker. It is Baker, right? Susan?
Yes.
His name is Jim Bakker.
I think that's how you say it.
Okay, well, I'm going to call him Jim Bakker. Cool. Jim Bakker. I have to tell you that this story comes from June, but anyways. So here's Jim Bakker and his Southwestern Missouri church, which surprisingly not an entree at Applebee's, will pay restitution of $156,000 to settle a lawsuit that accused the TV convicted felon pastor of falsely claiming that a health supplement could cure COVID-19. By the way, let me just note this real fast. Being a felon is not necessarily something which should disqualify a person from a job behind the pulpit. anybody, okay, well, maybe not like everybody, but mostly everybody can reform. It's just that Bakker was convicted of doing bad money things and covering up rape with hush money, which I guess qualifies him to be president. But that's why I bring it up, because he's again doing that bad money nonsense with doing a bad and hurting people, and with his quote unquote health supplement, if you want to call it that. If you want to call it a supplement or health, it will supplement your health for something. So, there's that. The settlement also prohibits Bakker and Morningside Church Productions, Inc. from advertising or selling Silver Solution, quote, to diagnose, prevent, mitigate, treat, or cure any disease or illness. Basically, it's what you see on the side of an energy drink can. And Bakker, by the way, in the agreement, does not admit wrongdoing. Yeah, I totally did this, but no. Republican Missouri Attorney General Eric Schmidt sued Bakker and Morningside in March of 2020, seeking an injunction ordering Bakker to stop selling Silver Solution as a treatment for COVID-19 because it doesn't fucking work. Let's change the screenshot there. Where did I even put it? They said that they did it on his streaming TV program, the Jim Bakker Show. The lawsuit said he and the guest made the cure claim during 11 episodes in February and March of 2020. The Silver Solution, cute name, is, as you may have guessed, a form of I messed it up again. Colloidal silver. It's impossible to say anything except for colloidal silver, by the way. I know. Colloidal silver consists of silver particles suspended in liquid. The solution is often described by manufacturers as having the power to boost the immune system and cure diseases. But of course, they're lying. Duh, of course they are. Anyways, they said it's no known benefit to the body when it's ingested, according to the officials with the National Center for Complementary and Integrative Health. Not a real thing, I'm telling you. A federal scientific research agency, apparently a thing. Experts say ingesting colloidal silver can have serious side effects. The NCCIH, the NIC, says it can turn skin blue when silver builds up in the body's tissue. Now, here you go. I have created a little test to help you here, to help you know if you should orally ingest, or I guess the President 45 way, some way, colloidal silver. Here you go. There's 3 things. 1, if you are a super spy whose last name is Archer. Number 2, if you are a mirror. And number 3, if you are a solar panel. If you're none of those, you probably shouldn't ingest colloidal silver or anything the previous fucking president tells you to do, like ever, at all, just period, okay? The guy said that we have jets that are literally invisible, okay? Maybe not listen to him, he bad. But, let's move on from Mr. Bakkers for the time being. I would much rather talk about the scourge of the motherfucking planet, churches racing Tonkas.
What?
Wait, hold on. There's a smudge on the screen. Hold on. I think I might have read that wrong. Hold on, real quick here. Okay, that's it. Oh, okay. Oh, right. My bad. That apparently says the scourge of the planet is critical race theory.
Oh.
I read it wrong.
That makes so much more sense.
I'm so sorry about that. I'm actually a bit disappointed that we don't have churches racing Tonkas, though. And so are you. You just admit it real quick. Think about it. Go ahead. Give yourself like half a second. Think about that.
That would be pretty great.
Fucking amazing, right? And consider this like an actual race. Like whichever church wins, right, gets 1 million free tickets to David A.R. Hercules' new movie, while the loser has to let brown people into their churches and they have to smile at them. I would create a church just to enter the race. And I'm kind of wondering if like John Oliver has a spare one he can give me. But anyways, back on June 1st, respected religious scholar Dr. Samuel Hill passed away at the age of 93. When I say respected scholar, by the way, I mean it. He's got a whole lecture, an institute named after him at UNC Asheville. But you guys, you don't care about all that. You want to know how I'm going to piss off Tucker Carlson. Again, people always miss the 3 Ks in his first name. I don't know how you guys miss it. Well, let me tell you how. Back in the 1960s, which apparently was a time when people lived, Dr. Hill wrote a book called Southern Churches in Crisis, arguing that white Southern Protestantism had compromised its integrity and its influence by turning away from the moral imperatives of the civil rights movement and the fight against segregation. I'm not lying. The dude wrote that in the 1960s in the South. Brave guy.
Yeah.
But additionally, he was also correct. He wrote an updated version of his book, which I own, in 1999, titled Southern Churches in Crisis Revisited. Both of them are great books. I recommend them. If you can find them, get them. They are very good. Now, after Hill's death, Bill Leonard, a senior columnist at Baptist News Global, wrote an article about Hill's work entitled Samuel Hill Was Prophetic in 1966 when he predicted Southern churches in crisis. By the way, that church on the screen right there, that is Horn Memorial Methodist Church in Clayton, North Carolina. And it's still there. And it looks the same today with the cool sign out front and everything. And church architecture is that, that got that Greek and Roman architecture stuff going on, is really, 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 really cool looking. Now they have painted it different colors these days, but the church is still there. It looks pretty cool. Leonard contends, by the way, and I agree, that Southern churches are in a crisis right now. And I believe that he rightfully points to Hill's writings some 50 years ago. First, that's the book, by the way, up on the upper left-hand corner of this. First, Hill realized that Southern churches, particularly popular Protestantism, had become lively sects that forged a rather cozy relationship with the South's cultural, social complex. In so doing, they had become an organizational establishment, highly privileged in Southern society, yet retaining elements of their sectarian past, including doctrinal uniformity, conversionist evangelism, and condemnation of the very worldliness that their culture-favored status often provided. Hill did predict, by the way, that the passing of the old Southern culture would bring a decline. I'd now say an end to the culture religion of Southern churches. In 2021, some churches and denominations, reduced numerically, have turned to the government in order to retain that culture religion relationship, because the government, well known for being incredibly religious, in its constitutional, in other documents, not just 99% of the Republicans in Congress. Also that, and 85 or 87, no, I think it's like 81% of Democrats. Now, at best, this was a temporary fix. Paradoxically, many of those who blame secularism for destroying faith-based foundations of American culture often fail to recognize that, at least in the South, secular and religious elements merged for generations. Slavery, of course, being a worst case illustration, and this was a tension that was bound to break apart. Notice the last thing that he said there. Those who blame secularism for destroying faith-based foundations in the American South, those who blame us for that are wrong. So if you didn't already like this Hill fella or this Leonard guy that's writing, you might be coming around at this point. Yeah, you are, aren't ya? So his critique of traditional conversion processes included, one, the belief that it would, quote, rectify all individual and social ills and by itself humanize life. Number two, a tendency to, quote, overlook persons and their needs unless they are prospects for church membership. Number three, a tendency to separate the conversion moment from the rest of the life. Rather, Hill asserted that the church's, quote, direct objective is service. As a result, it forever runs the risk of adding few or no new members to its church rolls. Literally a prophet. Third, Southern Churches in Crisis links 1966 and 2021 when Hill wrote, "The heart of the matter is that the ministry of the churches is ever more irrelevant to persons in the new society." These are sobering words, says Mr. Leonard, increasingly self-evident in the empty pews of 2021. It's almost like somebody wrote a book about emptying the pews. I don't know, maybe look it up. And also, indeed, think about the fundamentalist evangelicals you know. Can you think about them right now? Do you think their ears are burning a little bit? Is their chair getting a little Scott Frosty? But oh boy, though, Billy Graham's ghost is gonna try to haunt me. If there is an afterlife, Graham and his ilk are in whatever hell one might imagine exists. Think of the worst and then go worse than that, and that is where that bigoted piece of shit is. He's hanging out with Donald Rumsfeld and John McCain. If you can't tell, I'm not the biggest fan. The response of Southern white churches on racial issues accounts for some of those departures, both then and now. Hill declared, in view of its record of reactionary and sub-Christian conduct toward Negroes, repudiation of the church will seem the only authentic reaction to those who perceive the massive corporate guilt which rests on the shoulders of the region's Anglo-Saxon peoples. In 2021, the quest continues for an authentic reaction to race and racism inside and outside Southern congregations, as white majority churches affirm that, quote, all are one in Christ Jesus while weighing their response to black-generated movements related to Black Lives Matter and critical race theory. How can you hear him, church? Brother Leonard is speaking directly from the good book, which in this case, the good book is Southern Churches in Crisis. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Those tensions were evident in the annual convention sermon at the June meeting of the Southern Baptist Convention, when the preacher noted, that critical race theory positively acknowledged that the 2019 SBC resolution had produced, quote, the unusually rancorous debate involving many persons, quote, speaking about something they have little understanding of, ending in the word of. Offering his own analysis, he asserted that critical race theory is, quote, a flawed diagnosis, a hopeless prognosis, and writes a powerful prescription rooted in materialistic humanism and political power. He said it is powerless because it cannot cure the deepest ills of the human heart. It brings no transformation, produces no love, and results in no justice. It cannot produce what only the gospel can produce, a changed heart and new humanity, said Mr. Person at the SBC. Nothing.
Oh, well, allow me to retort.
Yet critical race theory is not a plan of salvation, Mr. SBC. Brother Leonard, tell him what is up. It is not competing with the gospel. Amen. Education Weekly explains critical race theory is an academic concept that is more than 40 years old. The core idea is that racism is a social construct and that it is not merely the product of individual bias or prejudice, but also something that is embedded in the legal systems and policies. Oh my goodness. Huh? The gospel does indeed change hearts. I learned that from Jesus and folks like my earliest SBC Sunday school teachers. But if we had waited on the born-again Southern Baptist slave owners to bring transformation, love, and justice to their enslaved persons, Black folks might still be in bondage. And that would be a real crisis. And that's that good word. You feel it? You feel that good word, right?
Hallelujah.
That's that good CRT word. He is straight up Tonka trucking these lukewarm, fence straddling, wealth hoarding, scruffy looking, get thee behind me nerf herders, and I am here for it. Speaking of allies, right? All right. Speaking of allies, a person that I have a great amount of respect for, Zach Hunt. You can find him on Twitter at Zach Hunt Twitter thing. I don't know. By the way, the all of the stuff is in the I didn't put it in the description yet. My bad. Or maybe I did. Who knows?
No,
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I'll put it. It'll be in there after the fact. So, Zach Hunt, he wrote a phenomenal piece on his website and titled it, "Will There Be Any Christians in Heaven?" And by the way, Zach is a Christian. Now, you might be thinking to yourself, Nathaniel, this ain't theology class. You closeted Christian. To which I say, better to be a closeted Christian than an out in the open Richard Carrier.
It's true.
He begins by saying, I'm gonna make Richard Carrier's people mad again. He begins by saying, by speaking about how when he was younger, he constantly questioned whether he would get into heaven. And by the way, if you have ever been a Christian and a child, that's something that you likely, I know that I did as well. And whether he would get to heaven, what he had to do to get to heaven, whether others that he knew would be there, if he could accidentally lose his salvation and things like that. Things that if you were a Christian, you, again, a child, you likely asked as well. And he says, I still have questions about heaven today, but they're much different than the sort of questions I asked in my youth. Rather than worry about whether or not I've properly gamed the system to secure my ticket through the pearly gates, I now find myself wondering if there will be any Christians in heaven at all. I know that probably sounds a bit absurd, So please allow me a moment to explain. Go on. As personally, I think most of us will be surprised by the incredible diversity of our heavenly neighbors. Have a great night, Neil. It is always good to see you. In fact, I would go so far as to say there will be a whole lot of folks in heaven who never profess Jesus as Lord. I mean, that is, I'm pretty certain that's heresy in some way. He says, because when Jesus talked about heaven, he said the path to get there was narrow, and so was the gate, and not everyone who called him Lord would enter. In fact, paragraph. Jesus went into even more detail near the end of his life, explaining that the way into heaven wasn't through the magic words at an altar, a profession of faith, or affirmation of dogma, but through the acts of love and service to our neighbors, particularly the least of these. Because for Jesus, heaven wasn't a reward of a life well lived, it was an extension of that good life into eternity, which apparently is in Nebraska. That's the good life joke. None of you guys got it. By loving and serving the least of these now, we prepare for life in the kingdom of God, because that's what life is like in heaven. A world made new where the first are last, the weak are made strong, the poor are made rich, and all the systems of power of this world have been brought low. Which that's probably a good thing, because we don't have to argue about whether or not cultural Marxism is a thing. It's not. He says, which is why I find it so strange when I look around today and see so many self-professing Christians working so hard to create and sustain a way of life that is completely the opposite of the everlasting love-filled life that they say that they want in heaven. If you wonder why do you still wonder why I'm quoting this? Or maybe you catching a trend here. Go on, Zach. What's up? They say we must love one another, bear one another's burdens, and not look out only for our own interests, but also the interests of others, and yet far too many of them can't be bothered to wear a simple cloth mask or to take a vaccine that would prevent both them and their neighbors from getting sick and dying. They say discipleship is a way of life, and yet they are creating literal get out of discipleship free cards in the form of religious exemption letters that would allow them to avoid basic public health and safety measures. They say we are all one in Christ Jesus, that there is no longer Jew or Gentile, male or female, slave or free, and yet they support white supremacist politicians and policies in overwhelming numbers, and yet when any effort is made to stand up to racism and teach about its vile influence on our nation's history, those efforts to speak the truth and stand for justice are denounced as demonic. They say there's life after death, that this life matters little in the light of eternity, and that we are called to lay down our swords and follow the Prince of Peace, and yet concealed weapons fill our pews, while professed followers of the Prince of Peace cling to their guns as if death really is the end and resurrection is a lie. They say that Christ was a poor, humble carpenter with no place to lay his head, and to follow him must be willing to lay down everything we have, and yet they vilify the poor as lazy mooches who refuse to work and have only themselves to blame for their plight in life when they use the happenstance privileges of their birth to urge politicians to pass public policies. That's fabulous alliteration. And to punish the poor for being poor while ensuring they have no real way out of a life of poverty. They say the kingdom of God is open to all regardless of who you are or where you come from, because a one-time refugee named Jesus tore apart the temple veil to invite everyone to come and find their seat at the heavenly banquet, yet vilifying immigrants and turning away refugees in the name of safety has been a tenet of faith among the vast swaths of American Christianity. They say so many things, and yet the lives they live stand in such contrast to the ways of Jesus, the life of Jesus, the teachings of Jesus, and the criteria by which Jesus said he will decide who gets to join him in eternity. Which is why Zach and myself, by the way, find himself wondering these days if the path really is narrow, and not everyone who professes Jesus as Lord will find it. Will there be any Christians in heaven? or at least any from the United States. And Zach, I know that you're definitely watching this video, so royalties would work for that. But I thank you. Like, for real. Because your voice in the evangelical circle matters. And to all of you secular folks, all of you who said you can't even fathom being friends with a Christian, let alone a conservative one. And by the way, more than a few of you told me that in a poll that I created. You told me you can't even fathom it.
Myself included,
Sorry, babe. Maybe take the time to check the link in the description and then tell me why you think you could never be friends with Zach. But enough of this feel-good stuff. Enough of this allies thing, right? You're not here for that. You're here because you enjoy seeing me go and sift through things on Fox News like the masochist that I am. Also, I'm reviewing a Ben Shapiro book. You should definitely check out that series. Well, fine, you vultures. Here. Tucker Carlson. I hate all of you. Again, the other two K's in his name are missing. I don't know why people keep doing that. They just they delete it out of there or something, and I don't think they should. I'm going to this is what I have to do before I start reading Tucker Carlson. Oh, thank you, Susan, for spelling it properly in the chat. Here we go. Tucker Carlson says, patron saint Anthony Fauci. I can actually do a pretty good Tucker Carlson.
yeah, you do.
I do. Not bad Tucker Carlson. Because I'm not bad. Has made a verdict on Christmas. Already, I mentioned this the other day. The war on Christmas apparently began 2 days ago. The patron saint of Fauciism has declared Christmas off limits. No. The sacred Christian observance canceled until further notice from Dr. Anthony Fauci, MD, Maryland. What a thrill it must have been for him to say something like that. Here's a guy who fully expected to spend his life giving prostate exams. And here he was declaring the ancient Christian calendar null and void. Pretty amazing. By the way, I don't know that Dr. Anthony Fauci ever woke up one day and said, you know what? Prostate exams. That's what I expect. Going to Howard University, I expect to only do prostate exams. You're right, Tucker Carlson. But more amazing was the reaction Fauci received when he said it. Yes, because remember, he actually said, no Christmas this year. Santa is fucking canceled. Which, god damn it. Fauci and his cancel Santa culture. Cancel clause. Ah, man, that's so much better. The people in charge loved it. They loved hearing him say that Christmas was no longer a holiday. They never cared much for Christmas anyway. You know, the people of this country, notable for hating Christmas. All that religious talk, unsupervised family time. It faintly seemed like a threat. Anthony Fauci, by contrast, that was the Tucker girl right there. That's the only way I can say his name when I do the 3Ks. By contrast, was no threat at all to the people in charge. He worked for them. His job was to do their bidding, to confirm their biases, and to never ever challenge their sense of moral superiority. Their job in return was to love him for it. And they did. What you're seeing here is Washington's new religion, Fauciism. This is what Mr. Carlson. So it shouldn't surprise you that this year, once again, our moral leaders are asking Dr. Fauci the same question. Christmas is coming, Dr. Fauci. Can we celebrate it? Please, can we celebrate Christmas, Dr. Fauci? You're the only person who can tell us if Christmas is okay. Dr. Fauci, notably a Christmas Grinch or something. That's Jim Carrey. Before we go through the hassle of booking plane tickets, renting cars, and buying presents for our loved ones and preparing to celebrate the central holiday of the country's biggest religion, please let us know, Dr. Fauci. Is it on or is it off? Is it like Mitch McConnell's light switch? Have we been naughty or have we been nice? Tucker, come on, buddy. You know the answer. Tell us. This year, the job of asking that question fell to an anchor at CBS News. On Sunday, she asked Dr. Fauci, and here's the exchange, which I know that Tucker certainly didn't take out of context. Brennan says, but can we gather for Christmas, or is it just too soon to tell? Dr. Fauci, Margaret? Nope, that was not the good one. I did a good Fauci last week.
Yeah, you did.
I did. I was very much the upset Brooklyn Fauci. And it's like and when I talk about the Fauci ouchie, right?
Yeah.
Like, you gotta get a Fauci ouchie. That was more of like a Vermont.
A little bit.
I'll
Yeah.
take it though. You go up and Bernie. The Bernie Sanders did. So what we're gonna talk about. How was that?
That was really good.
A good Bernie?
It was good, Bernie. It was a real good Bernie.
Thanks. Margaret, it's just too soon to tell. We've just got to concentrating on continuing to get those numbers down and try not to jump ahead by weeks or months and say what we're going to do at a particular time. Now, my fellow Americans, let's just get a little closer to the camera. Let's chat about this, okay? What did Mr. Prostate Fauci just say? And did he say Christmas is what is it again?
Cancel clause.
Is Christmas cancel claused? Is that what he said? Did the news anchor ask him, can we go and get presents? Or maybe is Tucker Carlson, there it was, got to slow it down, maybe lying, stirring up his base. Is Tucker just upset that he couldn't find himself a red Starbucks cup to get upset about this year? Break every chain.
Oh God, no, please. Oh no, it's stuck in my head again.
That's his wife, not Fauci,
Asshole.
not Carlson's either. I'm an asshole. Thanks, babes.
Love you.
But
Just for getting stuck in my head.
it really depends, says Mr. Carlson, on how you behave, whether you're naughty or nice. At this point, it's just too soon to tell whether you can have Christmas this year. No Christmas. It's too soon to tell if the 25th is going to be on the calendar. And in hearing that, the news lady just nods. It's all perfectly normal. We'll check back with you, Dr. Fauci. Keep doing science as only you can. There's parts of this that are just so hyperbolic, I can't fucking help myself. And of course, that's exactly what Tony Fauci plans to do. It's what he's done with his life. Now, oh my God. But Mr. Carlson goes on. Here's the funny thing. Not everyone wanted to hear we needed to cancel Christmas, which it should be pointed out, he never said that. Turns out, outside of network newsrooms, Christmas remains stubbornly popular in this country. And if there's one thing Tony Fauci responds to, it is public opinion. Fauci is on television almost constantly, not simply because he's brilliant and an amazing talker. Look here, Tucker, you got to say words that don't sound like your name. And not at all because he's self-absorbed and loves to hear himself speak, said Tucker fucking Carlson. But because it's his job as a public health. Actually, that's not Tucker Carlson because there's nothing white supremacist about what he wrote on there. So never mind. It's not you, Tucker. I'm sorry. I made it seem like you were a good person for a second, or at least not a white supremacist for a second. I mean, you are, right? But I made it seem like you weren't, and I don't want to just lead people astray. You know, I want them to think that there's no Christmas coming. Period. Dr. Grinchy. Where was I? There, thanks. He loves to hear himself speak, but because it's his job as a public health official. And so he responded, and oops, I skipped one. Oh, well. He says this, that was misinterpreted as my saying that we can't spend Christmas with our families, which was absolutely not the case. I will be spending Christmas with my family. I encourage people, particularly the vaccinated people who are protected, to have a good, normal Christmas with your family. But just the way all of the other disinformation goes around, not something you would do, Tucker, you say something talking about a landmark of a time and it gets misinterpreted that I'm saying you can't spend family Christmas time, which is nonsense. Yeah, it is nonsense. 1 second. I need to check something real quick here. I don't know why I did that. Oh, yeah, I didn't include the next part. Oh, well. Operation Cancel Christmas. But whatever will we do with the next David A.R. White film? If there's nothing to cancel, like what happens when everything that's left that is cancelable has been canceled? What becomes of his movie conglomeration of things? His Paramount religious movie thing that he does, which yeah, thank you. God damn, I could not think of it.
Oh, I thought you were like being facetious.
No, well, I am kind of, but
Sort of.
but he says this is what this is the way he says. This is what Tucker says. So when I said it's too soon to tell whether or not you can celebrate Christmas, what I really meant is, of course you can celebrate Christmas. What are you, stupid? Yeah, that's exactly what Dr. Fauci was saying. He was saying, stop spreading disinformation, Mr. fucking Carlson, you talker. So Tony Fauci, oops. Hope I clicked something on accident. Yeah, not a big deal. So Tony Fauci could have just read this off the screen. Didn't misspeak. It's your fault for misunderstanding what he said. You've been very naughty. There's a reason that a ton of white supremacists say that the best place they get their white supremacist talking point, their white supremacist talking points, is from Tucker Carlson, because he says their talking points better than they ever could. And they actually learn from him. The same thing applies to all of the former president apologists and all the people who are like the war on Christmas, and the reason there's still a coronavirus is because Tony Fauci, notable for hating Christmas, is canceling the holiday. Just like last year. If you don't remember, there was no Christmas last year. Right? Do you remember that? Like there was no, hey, Susan, would you do me a favor?
Yes.
I need a favor. You come over here and entertain the people for a moment. I have to go, and I will be right back. Entertain them for just a moment.
Oh dear.
Yes, it's just gonna be like half a moment.
Okay.
I'll be right back.
See, this is what makes me nervous whenever he's just all like, hey, you get to entertain them. So I'm just all like, the last time I was told to entertain people, I ended up telling a joke about why seagulls fly towards the sea. And it got groans. I don't think y'all heard that, but Nathaniel just emitted a very loud ow. It was amazing.
Do you remember last Christmas? Do me a favor and get the NVIDIA broadcast from the tray on the bottom right. All the way to the bottom right of the entire computer screen. And open up the NVIDIA broadcast.
That one?
Yep, and then turn off the blur. Just click the little
just
green
that.
slider. Yeah. Do you remember last year when there wasn't a Christmas?
I do remember when there wasn't a Christmas.
Yeah, okay, cool. And this doesn't exist. It's not a real thing, right? Sorry, Chewbacca. Right, Chewbacca's not even real, right? Like this didn't happen last year.
Chewbacca's not real?
This was not a Christmas. There was no Christmas last year.
There was no Christmas last year.
You didn't get anything.
I didn't.
Nobody
I got
you
nothing.
anything for Christmas.
Or the year before.
Our idiot roommates didn't get his girlfriend at the time a fucking hedgehog either.
He did do that.
He just did that because he hates us.
Yeah. He does. I mean, he does.
Yeah. So this didn't happen. It's not a real thing. There was no Christmas. Tony Fauci said there wasn't one, and that guy from the video of the school board meetings. I guess we got to do like a bunch of Hail Faucis now or something.
Ooh.
You know what? You talk to children, ask them if they've been a good little Fauci Nazi. Because that's the same thing, and there was no Christmas. Also, I'm holding up the Millennium Falcon with like 3 fingers.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go put it back.
So, yeah, that's a whole Millennium Falcon.
Not yet.
It's an almost Millennium Falcon.
Yeah, it's like 45% done.
Wow, we're that close to half?
Might not look like much, kid.
But she's got it where it counts.
Damn right. I'll be right back.
Tell jokes. So I told the chicken in the library joke, I think last time too. But for those of you who haven't heard that one, I can tell that one again. Because I have 2 jokes and they're both really, really bad jokes. I know. Yeah, it would have been. He was saying it would have been hilarious to have Neil. Which,
all right.
And Neil hated all of my jokes. I'm just saying.
Didn't know what I'm saying is because of the Falcon.
Oh, that too. Star Wars.
All right, with his Leho set. See, this is what that right there. That's the stuff that you miss if you don't watch this channel. That right there. Where was I?
I don't know.
So, yeah, there you go. Newburgh School District. I'm guessing that Susan, you clicked on the page because I found.
Shit, what did I do?
No, it's fine. Nothing. You didn't do anything that hurt, but I could tell you clicked on the page, and well, you didn't know. So Newburgh School District is in Oregon, by the way, only in Oregon. The only place there's a Newburgh School District. This one, though, is right down the road from us here in Portland. Well, their school board made the decision to ban educators from displaying symbols related to pride, Black Lives Matter, or anything that, quote, depicts support or opposition relating to a political, quasi-political, or controversial topic in their classrooms. Because, it's like controversial to be gay or trans, or it's controversial to say that maybe the police should stop murdering Black people, Or to say to say that it's controversial to say that money and borders aren't a thing and that we made them up. See, these aren't controversial things. Well, how did the students respond? Because remember, all of the actors that go and pretend to be parents in school districts, real thing, by the way, it's not a conspiracy theory. That's a real thing that happens. They're not there for their children, right? They don't care what their kids think, right? They don't. They do not give two shits what their kids think. They tell their children. But how did the students who said, we kind of feel like our voice matters in this situation, how did they respond? Well, they were having none of this nonsense. And Sherwood and Newburgh students, they took part in a rainbow out at a high school football game last week in response to the school board's ban. This was actually on the front page of the newspaper. I have the newspaper. I very rarely get the newspaper, but there are times that I feel like it's important to do it. Susan? Yeah, like I have the one from last week and stuff too. But students and supporters of Sherwood and Newburgh high schools participated in a rainbow out during Friday's football game at Sherwood High to show solidarity with the LGBTQ community and people of color. We are hoping for change. It should not be taboo, said Newburgh Junior Anthony Geish. Geish. Why are names so difficult to pronounce? Who is a member of the school's assembled student body. This is really for change and to show everyone that we've got your back. And that's what we're really looking for. Good for you, Sherwood and Newburgh. Good for you. The kids are all right.
Yeah.
You know who isn't all right?
Tucker Carlson?
Mike Lindell.
Ooh, so close. I mean, I was very close.
On July 18th, he said that God's had his hand in efforts to overturn the 2020 election. So God's had his hand in all of this, said the person who is begging you for money because he needs his cocaine, allegedly. And he told an excited crowd at Anaheim, California's Health and Freedom Conference, there's a few things here that don't go together with the conference you're at. A video of the remarks was uploaded to Lindell's website, Frank's Speech, which is a real thing. It was his timing. Can you imagine? If it would have happened earlier, you'd have all these people over here. They think they won, and plus they don't want to accept that it was fraud. Yeah, Mike, sure, bud. They would, all these people over here, if it was at a different time, could you imagine? They think that they would think they won. They think that Joe Biden is the president of the United States. They would be happy about that. Now, with that being said, that last part is a bit of okay. This is the clock is right twice a day type thing. Broken clock. Mike Lindell's not a clock. He's a Mike Lindell. But could you imagine living in a world in which Joe Biden continues to win Arizona? Could you imagine? And I know, not I believe, I know this will be the greatest uniting of our country in history. And we will once again be one nation under God. And it will be the greatest revival for Jesus in history. Hey, hallelujah. 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 That's what's known as a Jesus callback. Jesus Christ.
I'm trying to think of a pun that I can't think of anything.
He said, Mike Lindell, he He's, he said, could you imagine living in a reality that is reality? So 538.com, they think they know why white evangelical Republicans are so opposed to the COVID vaccine. Yeah, we know. We absolutely know why they're opposed to the COVID vaccine. Like, was this something that you actually had to put on you had to pay somebody to write an article, try to figure out why white evangelicals, who are the religious group that is most opposed to the COVID-19 vaccine, I hope that you paid the person who made this graphic more than you did the person who went and wrote the article that says, because it's political. Like, you literally said it. Literally said white evangelical Republicans. That's what you said it in your title. It's like when I read the article, the headline that said, why are so few black professors, why do so few black professors have tenure at colleges? Like, why do you have to write these things? Why do you have to write these things? Like, we know why they're so opposed to it. They also think it's the end of the world that's coming too. That's like actually a big thing for most fundamentalist evangelicals. But that's also kind of the thing for me. By the way, hard to handle. I don't know why you always delete every comment you ever make. I mean, I don't hate you for it. I just don't know why you do it. Like, you would think though, if they are yes, you caught that. If they are waiting for and they are hoping, remember back when they thought that, they probably still do think that that President Barack Obama was/is the Antichrist? Remember that they wanted it. They wanted the end of the world. This is why they don't care about climate change, because climate change is going to bring Jesus back, apparently. You know, because here, let me just go through this real quick. Jesus, where was he from? Jesus of Nazareth, right?
Oh, I thought that was his last name.
Is Jesus Christ, son to Joseph and Mary Christ. Where was Jesus from? Nazareth, right? Nazareth. What is the existential anthropogenic climate change, right? What is that leading to? Besides the end of human civilization, probably the best thing you could possibly get for the planet, but it is leading to the rising of the oceans. Okay, the oceans are rising. Israel, known for being, full of water. You think Jesus wants to come back when the oceans are covering his house?
I mean,
He's not the one that built the boat.
maybe he took up surfing. You don't know.
He could be a surfer.
Yeah.
Dad.
He looks like one.
Well, they're gonna start.
I'll be here all night.
They're gonna start thinking like real fast that maybe don't do the high watermark thing. Yeah, there you go. There it is. The BBC says that young people are more likely to pray than those over the age of 55, or as the BBC tells them, than over 55ers. Well, yeah, we know. because people that are older than 55 don't have to worry about inheriting the world that they continue to fuck up for younger people who are maybe not praying to God as much as they're praying to Tony Fauci. Please clap. And finally, a Catholic guy who wanted to deny President Joe Biden communion. He has resigned after a cell phone links him to a gay dating app. Okay, let me just go ahead and say this real fast. Just real fast here. I don't care that the Catholic priest has a gay dating app. I don't care that he's gay, or I don't care about his sexual wants and needs. I don't, and I'm not going to shame him for that. The same thing with people shaming former First Lady Melania Trump for her modeling or anything like that, right? That's the thing. Like don't shame her for that. I'm not going to shame this priest. What I am going to say is you fucking deserve it, you hypocritical little fuck. That's the thing. You dishonest piece of shit. I would call you scruffy and nerf herdering and what, but no. You're not at that level. Actually, you might be, because wasn't that scene where he kissed Leia? Wasn't that like unscripted? Wasn't that unscripted? Or that was the "I love you, I know" thing, right?
Yeah.
Never mind.
That was that.
Never mind. The other, although it was Star-Lord in Jurassic World, they kissed Bryce Dallas Howard without she didn't know it was going to happen. I hate Chris Pratt. And but that's the reason that this is this is the thing. Like with a lot of, you find out that a lot of people who are completely against abortion, like, I don't know, 3 people in Texas, right, who are completely against abortion, and then it comes out that their mistress had an abortion. Let me just point this out. I don't care that you had a mistress. I really don't. I don't think that you should have been dishonest in your relationship with your partner, but I don't care that you had a mistress. And I also don't care as long as you didn't coerce anybody or force them into doing anything, which we know that you have done that, multiple of you. It's the hypocrisy. That's what it is. It's there's so much of it that it's hippopotamusocracy. That's the thing. Ben Shapiro, in his book, says these things about the left, right? Infiltrating these institutions and doing all these things to make it so that you can't talk and you can't have pronouns in your Twitter profile. He is obsessed with pronouns. Oh my gosh, I've never seen anybody in my life so obsessed with pronouns. Wow. Also, he conflates liberalism with leftism a lot, and it's really, really annoying. But he's also a liar, and somehow Jewish and anti-Semitic. I don't get that one either, but I have a dog whistle for a reason. And it's the hypocrisy that matters here, right? The who wanted to deny President Biden communion. Remember that? Yeah. There was this big uproar, and then the Pope was like, "Man, shut the fuck up and give the guy communion."
just like the Pope and a lot of other religious leaders this past week, this is something I didn't put into the script here, but certainly will have in the description. And Cynthia, that's also where you can find the thing that I was mentioning earlier with Dr. Hill, that it is the amount of hypocrisy that's there. That I think that we should care about, because what did Joe Biden do that was so bad? He is in favor of marriage equality. He is in favor of mass deportation of refugees as well. Fuck you, Joe Biden, you piece of milquetoast nonsense garbage. And also, you as well, Madam Vice President Kamala Harris. Go and do something right. Just one time. Go to Joe Manchin's fucking houseboat and make it like you're the FBI going to visit Leonardo DiCaprio. Pretend like you have power. Don't listen to Alexander Hamilton when he says that, tell my wife that John Adams doesn't have a real job anyway. Madam Vice President, you have a job, okay? And maybe you're better at it than the previous guy who just yesterday said that there was a small riot or something on January 6th, you know, and like they erected a noose instead of hang my fence or anything. It's just a regular little day, you know, a little bit of breeze. You know, some waft, a little bit, is a tinge of insurrect in the air. Regular day, you know? Ooh. Oh, I voted for Joe Biden. For sure I did. How many of those stickers did I have, babe? I had a Kamala Harris one. I've got the Beto shirt. Couple of them. I've got it. Yep. Elizabeth Warren was who I actually voted for. Not in the general, but in the primary, and she voted for some other socialist. And it was the right choice.
Hey.
She made the right choice.
I did.
Maybe. And I didn't get any what is it, the butt edge. I almost got one of those. That was one of the better slogans that I saw. The butt edge was a good slogan. Or boot edge. Yes, thank you. Sorry about that. Did they have kids?
Yeah. Chasten? Is that how you say his name?
Yeah, Chasten.
His husband, Chasten, and
Oh, congratulations to them.
I think they're twins.
The twins.
Yeah, I think they just had twins.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
He is the Secretary of State? Transfer station?
Infrastructure? I don't fucking know.
Gary said, I'm definitely not voting for Biden. Gary, do you live here?
Gary lives in Australia.
Gary, this is not Oregon, okay? Wait, this is, but you're not in Oregon where we have a lot of fraud with our mail-in ballot. I'm hearing that we don't have that? I'm being told that we don't have that. But like, again, I'm going to put this up. I'm going to put it up there again. I don't care, and neither should you. Well, I mean, if I guess maybe if you're Catholic and of the opinion that being gay is bad, then I guess you could you know in your moral view this is a bad thing. But if you are of any of the view that I am, which is the correct view, okay, I am correct. And you might have your opinion, and it's okay to be wrong for the most part. But with this, I refuse to shame this person for, again, I'm not going to king shame this guy. Why should I? You guys don't know what Susan and I do in the bedroom. We sleep. Yep. And that's the news. An hour and 15 was actually about where I thought it would be. I want to thank everybody for coming in here. You folks are all amazing. All the names in the chat, all of you, the X and Cynthia. Cynthia, we don't talk enough. I need to chat with you. I really do. And Gary and Titan and Ard DeAndel and Levi Levi and again, names are my kryptonite. Names are my kryptonite. So if I get your name wrong, I'm Superman, and I'm going to kill Batman. I don't really.
Did you say that name?
Yeah. I saw it.
I derailed
I saw it on. I saw that on somebody's license plate or something. It said Martha or something on it. I don't remember what it was. And I walked inside and I was gonna say something, but then it was like, what? But then Batman popped up. And Neil for popping in, and everybody else, you made it. You're definitely a Bernie bro for sure. You guys are awesome and amazing. We thank you. By the way, here are a couple of things for you to do. Follow Susan on Twitter. She's on Twitter. She's probably a better Twitter follow than I am. Really is. She got to meet Cecile Richards. 2 times. You know who I got to meet? A picture of Cecile Richards. Oh my God. Delveille. Thank you. Yes, I got to meet David Silverman and I got a photo with him. Yes, you are. Thank you, Susan. Thank you for But if you want to support us, there are ways to do that. And you can go right over to divinedisbelief.live. You can catch our live streams there. You can view our previous videos there. You can also donate to us there. You can tip us there. The platform there does not require us to be monetized or anything. So sorry for you, Google. And we get 100% of what you give over there. You can do that, or you can make it to where it is a recurring thing. You can also go to Patreon if you want to see some of our earliest videos, which you don't. But if you do want to see them, you go over to Patreon, you become a subscriber on Patreon. You can see all of the early videos. And I'm sorry that that's going to happen to you. But you can also go to our merch store. We have merchandise created. It took a long time, 40 minutes to make this. I don't know. It's a Teespring something or other. And you can, yeah, we have Teespring. And you go over there, and it's not expensive stuff, by the way. Here's what you can do. You can get it, and you can mail it to Ben Shapiro. And I'm certain he'll love it. And here's the thing. 100% of proceeds that we get from any purchases made of our merchandise goes directly to the National Network of Abortion Funds. And actually got to make tomorrow, Susan and I are making a $50 donation ourselves. And so definitely if you do that, we don't get any profit or anything from that. And you'll have a sticker, or if you have a Samsung phone, you can get a case that it has. And then you can, I'm guessing it's a protective case, and then you can just like throw it at somebody that you know that's not going to press charges on you for assault. Or at the mirror, because then it'll like bounce back and hit you, and you deserve it. And because then you can say, see, now I'm made of silver. And if you would like to forego that, you can go right to our website, divinedisbelief.live. We have a link there where you can give directly to the National Network of Abortion Funds. And yeah, I think that's it. Is that it? I just looked over at the other computer screen and there's a big Mike Lindell's in there. Yes, love. You figured out the link to our Teespring?
Yeah.
There you go. There you go. IDK the merch link. I know, I realize. Funko will be having a great Christmas. No, they won't. Funko is in they're in the funk. There it is. Divine disbelief. Pardon me. Pardon me again. Divine disbelief. .creator / etc. You can go there. And I think it's even written on there that all of the proceeds go to National Work Abortion Funds. And yeah, that's it. Right? I think that's it. I think so.